So I wanted to talk about an old saying and where it comes from and why it's important. And you may have even used this and you say, oh, you have little faith. And it really goes back to the Bible, the Christian Bible, when Jesus was talking to actually he's criticizing his disciples. And he did this at least 4 times. And one time is particularly interesting. It was on a boat and a storm had suddenly appeared. And Jesus was literally relaxing so much that he was asleep. And his disciples had gotten very worried and actually terrified. And so they woke him up, and Jesus had again criticized them. And he said, "Ye of little faith." And that's a great metaphor because when we talk about life, there's so many times we feel like we're in a storm. And if we just had faith, and you say, well, faith in what? Well, faith in something beyond this world, beyond the senses, a reality that's deeper than what the thinking mind creates with all of its storms and problems. Well, the other side of this is actually very interesting. It's not always that we have too little faith. Well, we do. We have too little faith in the world beyond this, the deeper world, however you want to look at it, the world beyond the thinking mind, what I've called pure consciousness. People have come up with all kinds of terms for it. But the other side of the equation is that we have too much faith. We have so much faith in the products of the thinking mind that they go almost, well, most of the time, absolutely unquestioned. So consider things like problems at work, social problems, relationship problems. Almost all of these come under the basic heading of problems created by the thinking mind. And the fascinating thing about it is we don't think that they're problems created by the thinking mind. We think that they are absolutely in the real world, which is to say, these are things that we have given absolute faith to. And so that's very interesting that we would have so little faith in some things that are unseen and so much faith in others that are also absolutely unseen. I mean, let's just take something simple like your problem that you're having at work. Can you see the problem? And you say, well, you could see the effects of it sometimes, but the effects are not it. It's kind of like thinking there's a ghost in your house, and you can say, well, there's a chair that was moved, and well, who knows? But you can't see the ghost itself, and that's what I'm getting at. It takes faith because you can't actually see the problem. You can't see it. It's just something that exists completely in the mind. And it takes faith to buy into it. And it's the faith that when you buy into it that creates the suffering. Now, I want to end this, and if you haven't seen this TED Talk by Sam Burns, I really want you to check it out. But I want you to check it out in an interesting, different way, even if you've already seen it. Because he comes up with three very good suggestions for living a happy life, particularly considering the disease that he was living with. And very short time, we're all living a very short time in this existence, but his was particularly short. And the thing about it is, when you watch it, I want you to really ask yourself, I mean, this extraordinary person, I mean, it doesn't seem like he's 17, which is to say, he seems like he's connected with something. He's shifted the faith from the thinking mind that buys into all the problems it creates, all the problems of this world, and he has shifted it to something much bigger, something deeper, something more real. And when we shift that faith, then we get that message that everything's going to be okay. And that's what all of us in this situation, anytime a storm arises, that's the real message that we want to hear. Everything's going to be okay. So the point of the video is to recognize you already have an abundance of faith. You are just putting it in the wrong place. You're putting it in the thinking mind. That creates all the problems and the suffering. And I think the message that Jesus was trying to get across is shift that faith to the world beyond this world, to consciousness beyond the thinking mind. And when you do that, you absolutely get the certitude that everything is going to be okay.